Connect Nigeria. Need it, search it, find it.
My name is Mabel George. I'm a Vice President in charge of Business Development for Sigma Pensions in the West. Thank you for allowing me to come into your spaces, wherever you are, listening from your homes, in your offices. It's nice to be here. And I also want to appreciate the management and the leadership of Connect Nigeria for being able to transit this program and this conference from what it's been, from a physical conference to a virtual conference. It just tells you the times we're in, where we need to be able to adapt. We need to be able to reinvent ourselves. We need to be able to rethink the way we've been doing business, the way everything has basically and practically changed for us. In January this year, if anyone had predicted that this is where we would be today, the answer would have been absolutely no. Nobody could have envisaged that this is where we would have been. But here we are now. And what I'm going to be talking to you about is really how to rethink your business post the pandemic. I have some slides I'm going to share with you. I want to start off by saying a lot of people have been talking about post the pandemic, post the coronavirus, post the lockdown. In all honesty, there is no post. And why do I say this? Because we're living in the times. We are living through the pandemic. And so we should not just look beyond the pandemic. We should think of how we are going to survive and adapt in this present situation. And I'm going to read a quote from Nicole Reed that says, sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly in the path of the best things that would ever happen to us. So now, for different people, it seems like something bad has happened, especially for business owners. It looks like, they can't go on. Their businesses are failing, and there's not much that would happen, to their businesses. And I want to take you through 2020 and the things that have happened to us. 2020 has been a year of firsts, a year of many things, a year of many disasters. I've even heard people say they want to take out 2020 from their calendars. I say absolutely not. There's no need for that. 2020, we've experienced quite a number of natural disasters. We've seen quite a number of unrests, even in the northern Nigeria, even as we speak today. We've had global unrest. You've seen what has happened in the world. We've had falling oil prices. That has a direct impact on Nigeria. Today, most of you would have received messages from your banks that say the limit on your card is, the spending limit is $100 in a month. It just tells you that the times we're in. And then, of course, the big elephant in the room, which is the coronavirus pandemic, which for a lot of us, we didn't take it seriously, or it wasn't taken seriously at when it started. But as it dawned on us that our businesses are failing, our jobs are disappearing, furloughs were happening, everywhere, we had to begin to rethink the way we were going to do business.
This is ConnectNigeria.com's mission and vision statement. Mission: to organize Nigeria's information, making it easy to find and easy to use. Vision: to be the #1 go-to place for authentic, important, useful, and positive information in Nigeria and about Nigeria. Goal: to be a catalyst in our quest to fix Nigeria by providing information that is actionable. Information is power. Applied information is even more powerful by building strong businesses and careers with the information we provide. How? We need to become relevant so that people will use us. People will share information with us. People will partner with us. Organizing events and trainings. Being the most positive company. By giving back to society. By having an excellent spirit.
So now I want to show you some statistics on a survey that was done on about 18 OECD countries on the impact of the coronavirus on their businesses, that is for the SMEs. And when you look at this slide, you can see that a country like China had about 80% respondents saying that their businesses had been impacted. Generally, you have over 90% of these countries, these 17 countries, saying that their businesses have been impacted by the coronavirus. Moving further, you look at it, and a country like Korea, because after the survey, they looked to see those countries and those businesses that would be at risk of totally being, shut down. And a country like Korea had 70% saying they'll be completely shut down. The US didn't come in too badly, and the UK at about 51 and 33% respectively. However, interestingly, some of the European countries like Denmark, Finland, and Germany, who have handled the crisis much better than the superpowers of the US, had no respondents to that. What does it mean? It means they believe very strongly that their businesses are going to recover post the pandemic. I want us to bring it down to Nigeria. And there was a survey that was carried out by Fate Foundation in partnership with Budget Nigeria. And they looked and got responses from about 1,900 micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises across the 36 states in the Federation, inclusive of the FCT. And it shows an overwhelming 93% of businesses that surveyed and said they had been negatively impacted by the coronavirus. Now, that's a staggering amount of responses. And, so it just tells you that most of the businesses believe very strongly that they will not be able to survive, and they have all been impacted by the pandemic. And if I show you again what the survey had said and the impact and the places where people were impacted the most, you had things like cash flow, you had things like sales, you had things like revenue coming in tops. Cash flow was a big issue. 72% said that their cash flows had been impacted. Now, without the cash flow, without the revenue, without the sales, how are these businesses going to be able to thrive? I tell you what has happened to some people and some businesses is that not only have they run out of cash flow, not only are they not receiving revenue, a lot of them have actually even started to consume the capitals and are selling off their investments to survive. This is really staggering and difficult times for SMEs in the country. If you look further again at the impact of the coronavirus, the SME Competitiveness Outlook predicts that African exporters are set to lose about $2.4 billion in global industrial supply chains exports as a result of shutdowns that happened in China, in the US, and in some of the EU countries. On the supply side, the major issue is the increase in the operating expenses. It has become so difficult now to manage your businesses. Like I said, because you have no cash flow coming in as much as possible, you've experienced reduction in labor and in your raw materials. We see that the ports are overflowing with containers and with consignments that are yet to be cleared. And there are lots and lots of delays. And of course, it just translates into shortages of goods and services for SMEs. On the demand side, I don't need to say much about that. There has been a drastic reduction in demand for the businesses that SMEs would provide. And this has really affected their liquidity, affected their positions and ability to serve their customers. Consumers experience loss of income, and of course, the fear of contagion has been heightened. And so there has been reduced spending and consumption by the average individual. So having that in mind, what do we do? What do individuals do? Do they just sit back and say, well, I close shop and I do other things? It seems like a doom and gloom situation, but I tell you that in all of this, there are opportunities that SMEs, business owners, professionals can take from this pandemic. And until you see the silver lining and the opportunities in it, then you're not able to reinvent yourself. You're not able to withstand the shock and move forward. So post-pandemic opportunities, the pandemic really doesn't, need to lead to financial ruin for entrepreneurs. Absolutely not. And indeed, you need to adapt to the new normal. That is what we're all going to look at. You need to look at how your business can become innovative, how you can retool yourself, how you can put your skill sets to other businesses. One of the good points and starting points is to look at, you do a review of the sectors in the economy and think about the sectors that would need more business, the sectors that would thrive in this pandemic, the sectors that need more inputs. And with the skill sets that you have, you need to adapt them to these sectors and look to see what are the businesses that you can provide for these sectors? What are the specific services that you can provide for these sectors? And I look at entertainment and sports because we like that a lot in this country. We're very outgoing. We like to watch our sports. You would notice that during the pandemic, there was an increase in viewership on Netflix and other TV viewings. Now, we also noticed that our Nollywood was being viewed. I mean, I don't watch Nollywood, but I watched it a whole lot, when I had time during the pandemic. What that tells you is that there's going to be a demand for movies. There's going to be demand in that industry and the whole value chain. How are you retooling and rekitting yourselves to be able to take advantage of that? That is just one. Healthcare. Everybody has become health conscious. We're all using masks. We're all using sanitizers. Offices are looking for health kits and safety kits. That is another business that people can, tap into and begin to thrive in that business. Education. Now that has been impacted and is still impacted. And I believe that it's a gold mine for people to tap into. You can use your skills by reading, looking at the syllabuses of schools. You can reduce them to different models and make them available for people to have easy reads on the go. You can also look to see how you can provide some sort of technology that enables people to do education and online learning very easily. Events catering, and that is a big one for Nigeria. Now, a lot of the events centers, a lot of people have been impacted. But guess what? Events are still going on. And if you don't look to see how you can tap into such an industry, then you find yourself on the falling end of the stick. People are having virtual events. People are having virtual parties, and people are enabling it for them. Are you able to retool yourself? Are you able to change your skill sets to be able to provide this service? Because I tell you, consumer behavior is really going to change even when everything is open up. So if you're not able to provide this service, then it becomes a disservice to you because people are going to move on.
About selling the African story. The Connect Nigeria SME e-Business Fair, Africa's biggest and largest SME event.
And I want to talk again about e-service and delivery, e-commerce and delivery services. During the pandemic, nobody wanted to go out. People are moving their goods and services now via logistics. I hear people are buying bikes and all other things. That is how business is going. That is the flow that we are finding now. Now, if you're able to also tap into that, you begin to provide a service and a solution. So indeed, there are lots of opportunities, and these are just a few that I've highlighted. There are much more than that. I said what you need to do is you need to rethink the way you do business. You need to take a back seat and review the economy, review the sectors, and see how you can be add a positive stink to what is going on in the economy. That is the only way you show that you're resilient, and that is the only way you transit from what you were doing before to what you're going to be doing now. We all, as SMEs, have to become very fluid because now we're all in survival mode. So I will talk about financial planning beyond 2020 because regardless of your level of income, you need to take steps to improve your financial standing. We found out that a lot of SMEs didn't have more than a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months finances to go by. So if this pandemic subsists still, and we've heard people predict that it's going to happen for the next 2-3 years, are you going to be in this situation financially? Are you not going to be able to rise above this situation and be able to do your business? So on a personal side, it's the time for you to now begin to add to your emergency savings. And if you didn't have that before, that has become a priority now for you. You need to reconsider your debt strategy. You need to look at the credit cards you're holding, the debts that you're holding that may have been necessary at that time and all of a sudden have become unnecessary. So you go and refinance the things that you need to do. You need to also make over your budget. What do I mean by making over your budget? We're in a situation that is not normal. And so the things that you normally would have budgeted for, other things have all of a sudden taken priority over that. So you need to make over your budget and begin to reprioritize how your spending is going to be conserved. The thing that would be at the back of your mind is cash preservation, because in this time, cash is king. You need to also try, no matter how difficult it is, to invest more. And I advise against selling any of your investments or your assets to be able to survive. That's not the time to do this. This is actually the time to invest, because we find that investments are at an all-time low. So this is the time for you to invest. You have a retirement savings account, you have other investment, mutual funds. This is the time to put more monies into those sort of investments. And if you do not have a retirement savings account, this is the right time to start off one now. It's one of the things that we provide for at Sigma Pensions. Now, many people have been laid off. A lot of people have been furloughed. The pension scheme allows you to access 25% of your funds after 4 months. So we've gone through a pandemic now for a couple of months. It becomes a fallback for you. So on the personal side, that is something that you should look forward to. I go to the business side. Again, you must have an emergency savings for your emergency budget for your business. You're not just going to go and eat all of what you have and try and use it to survive. No, you put that money aside, you draw on it on a rainy day. Cut off all the fluff. Adapt to technology. People are using things as simplified as WhatsApp, as Instagram to adapt in this situation. I know someone who uses Instagram to advertise, and people come to her location and they make sales. Only WhatsApp and Instagram. She's not using any big time technology. So it's not as complicated as sometimes we make it out to be. You need to also check your insurance, ensure that you have an insurance scheme, get a low rate loan. If you don't have that, you can go through all the Bank of Industry, NISRAL. There are quite a number of bodies who are providing such loans, especially now for SMEs. You refinance your loans that you had maybe with the commercial banks, and then you can move to low interest loans. They're giving loans as low as 5%, 10%. It's something that I think SMEs should take advantage of. You also need to seek out the government grants that are available for the SMEs. And then most importantly, have a pension plan for your staff. Again, you are able to allow your staff to access that monies, and it becomes less of a burden if you're a business owner. They're able to go to their pension administrator after a while and able to access their funds. Now, before I conclude, I want to talk to you on how we're going to forge ahead together. You need to look at your business the way it has been and build a business that will last. Not just a business that you're building for efficiency, but a business that is designed for resilience, to be able to take whatever shocks come in. You also need to adapt to technology. I've said it and I cannot overemphasize it. Technology is king at this time. If you go down the road in Lekki and all of the commercial hubs, most of the roads are empty. Why? People are working from home. People are doing businesses from home. People are transacting from home. So you need to be able to adapt to technology, take advantage of it, and let your business move forward. In this world that we find ourselves in, technology is what is going to drive us. Data is king. With the right data, we're able to predict, we're able to make simulations, we're able to plan on how we're going to work and how we're going to move post the pandemic. So it puts you in a better standing than people who do not work with data. And of course, more importantly, and most importantly rather, is financial planning. It is a key tool that every business owner, every young professional, or any individual at all must imbibe financial planning. Put your finances together. Make sure that everything comes in place and you're able to draw on those finances. You're able to leverage them when things like this happen, like the pandemic. So I believe that all of what I've said is not things maybe you've not heard before. But sometimes we draw it, we bring it home when we emphasize all of these things. It's important that SMEs begin to become resilient. In truth, some SMEs would not survive this pandemic, and that's the truth. But those who are built to last, those who are resilient, those who can adapt are the ones who would be able to rise above the pandemic, rise above the challenges, because this is just one thing that we have seen. Many things would probably come in future. We don't know how it's going to be. We must be positioned. We must be ready to be able to face those challenges whenever they present themselves. It's been nice speaking with you. Again, my name is Mabel George, and I work with Sigma Pensions. For investment tips and other things that you would need to hear, how you can help your business to grow, you can interact with us on any of our social media handles. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on LinkedIn, any of these social handles, Facebook. You can interact with us. You will get somebody speak with you and tell you how you can move your business forward, how you can plan better, and how you can adapt in the pandemic. Thank you very much, and I do hope you all have a pleasant day. Thank you.
Vibe about selling the African story. The Connect Nigeria SME business fair, Africa's biggest and largest SME event.